When Stephen Rakeland came to Melbourne, we asked a group of char grilling experts for their tips and secrets, with thanks to Kerry Tate, Julian Wu, John Ryan, Stavros of Stavros Tavern, Albert Park, Vlado of Vlado's Restaurant in Richmond, and Alan Campion. Here's what we learned. What are your tips, you think? Have you got any little sneaky tips for barbecuers out there?
Yes, I do. Even with cheap cuts of meat, marinate it, you know? Yeah, keep the plate clean if you can.
On the salmon steaks, and then I grilled them, elevated off the coals on a couple of bricks wrapped in alfoil. That's to stop the fat which flares up from burning the fish.
Tell us about what you use normally when you're char grilling.
Generally, I keep using heat beads because of they're consistent. You know what you're working with, and they've got a fairly neutral flavour, so you can kind of use them as your sort of basic heat source, and then you can colour that with your woods without them getting in the way of your other flavours.
Tell us about actually your barbecuing method. I believe you are a char grilling expert and you use exclusively char grilling method.
I don't use my gas barbecue at home. I've probably used it 18 months, 2 years ago on a fire band day. I would rather do this. I've got more control over the heat. I've got more control over where I can place the meat and all those sorts of things. It's a nice dry heat, so you don't have all the water that comes out of the gas getting in the way of the cooking. What you've got, you can set the skin on the meat and it'll just be so soft and gentle in the middle. You don't get that with the gas.
What fuel do you normally prefer?
I prefer heat beads because they give me a really good strong heat. I then use wood to give me the flavours. But the heat beads give me the strength of the heat that I need.
Now, Stavros, you are famous for cooking on char,
yes.
on char grilling. Tell me what it is. What's the secret? Why does it give such a great flavour? Or what does it do for the cooking?
I don't know what it is. I think it's just the natural fuel that it is. You know, it just gives beautiful flavours through the meat. The heat you require is there if you want it.
Yep.
You can move it away from the heat if you want to. It's controllable. It's just a beautiful product to work with.
I noticed you used a bit of lamb fat there to help start it today.
That's right. Well, we just want to use a bit of lamb just to grease the barbecue. It's natural, it's cheap, it's available. You keep that in the deep freeze. You use it whenever you want to. So it's not you can use it from frozen and just heat up your grill and oil at the same time.
And that's a great tip. Where did you get that tip from?
Well, I learnt that from my friend who's around here somewhere, Vlado Gregoric. He uses beef, of course. Being Greek, I use lamb. But Vlado's an old mentor and a good friend, and I'm sure he doesn't mind me telling you that he's the one that came up with it.
You must have the right fire, which I achieve with charcoal barbecue by choice of my charcoal, and building up the fire. Then I have the right fire to cook. Then you have to clean the grill properly. I'm talking about grill. Grill properly with eyebrush first. Then you have a clean cloth and clean this grill again with cloth. And to make sure that your meat doesn't stick to the grill, you have piece of ordinary beef fat and put these on the grill before you put your meat.
Does it also, I guess, show you that, for instance, some people identify cooking on char as being somewhat difficult to control, whereas I think what this has proved to a few people is that it can be very flexible as well if you know how to use it?
Look, my experience, just 2 weeks ago I had a barbecue. So I set up a trolley barbecue for those who, I said to everyone, bring something. There's a trolley for those who want it. But over here we've got the Weber with the heat beads coals. That's exactly what we had. And it was really fascinating to see who cooked what, where, and how they tasted as well.
Yeah,
and
right.
Dish of the day was some beef ribs that had this dry rub, which was an Ethiopian marinade, which someone brought down from Canberra.
There you go. Yeah.
It was sort of sour, lots of turmeric, a bit of cardamom, and I couldn't work out what else was in there. These ribs cooked for a long time, all afternoon, magnificent. So people were going, wow, how did you do that? And it's not just about the flavour that you're putting onto the meat to marinate it. It's about the flavour that comes from the interaction between the meat cooking and the beads, and that little bit of smoke happening and the flavours that change, and that people really sort of got it, which was great. When I've been working on cookbooks, barbecue cookbooks over the years, occasionally the Weber will be fired up and I might cook a whole leg of lamb, followed by a whole chicken, and it's going for hours, and the coals kept getting sort of refurbished, a few more on there. And then at the end, trying a couple of recipes, maybe there's half a dozen of, say, little kebabs and things. Well, I've done this little Japanese chicken kebab. Now, it probably took 20 minutes to cook, which on the typical gas flat plate, 5 minutes, you'd be eating them. After 20 minutes, these things tasted incredible.